That was brutal, guys. I mean, this really was a game that should have gone in the Bulls' favor, and I think we all know that if Zach Lavine was in the lineup, they would have walked away with a win. Which, before I get into discussing the game, we did obviously receive some relieving news from the Bulls staff that Zach Lavine's MRI showed no structural damage to his knee and likely won't have to miss much time. It was confirmed, though, by Billy Donovan that Lavine will be out for the game on Monday against the Grizzlies, which is unfortunate, but it's a huge sigh of relief when I think us all Bulls fans know all too well that a knee injury sustained with no contact is never a good sign, and I think we're all just glad that this wasn't something that could have kept Zach out for months on end. Of course, on top of that, we did learn that Lonzo Ball would miss tonight's game due to knee soreness. Is actually doubtful for Monday's game as well, but again, the good news is hopefully both of them will not be missing any extensive time. Anyway, this is a game the Bulls didn't have any business in winning with how shorthanded they were. The fact that it was a back-to-back game, a traveling back-to-back, and if it wasn't for those missed opportunities down the stretch with less than 2 minutes to go, they were going to be walking away with another comeback win in Boston. So because of all of that, I can live with this loss. Like, I'm fine with the Bulls losing a game when they play hard with effort and energy, and especially when they're overcoming circumstances like being without some of their best players. This was a significantly better outing for the Bulls than what we saw last night and the game prior to that. Aside from the first quarter, where it looked like the Bulls were going to have another blowout loss with the amount of shots that they were missing and looking lost on defense, I thought Tatum was going to be going off tonight for 50 points based on how he was lighting us up in the first quarter. But aside from that quarter, the Bulls hustled, they fought and clawed on defense, they started shooting the ball well, they played much more efficiently, and they started moving the ball well for being without their starting backcourt. The Bulls had 31 assists tonight as a team. This is their first loss of the season, having 30 or more assists. Prior to that, they were undefeated, and it shows you just how important ball movement and pace is for this team, given the fact that they were without 30% of their roster and it came down to a final possession because they were actually executing on offense by playing team basketball. Defense was key as well. The Bulls did a great job at guarding Tatum and Brown tonight, who shot 8 for 24 and 8 for 19 respectively. Dosunmu was incredible in locking down Tatum tonight. I'll talk about Ayo in a little bit, who had a career game for himself being inserted into the starting lineup, but finally, you had the Bulls playing some effort tonight on the defensive end, deflecting passes, hustling for loose balls, and above all, they actually took care of the ball tonight, only turning it over 6 times, which I believe is a season low. Like, the Bulls had more turnovers in a single quarter the other night against the Warriors. The key thing where they really struggled, though, and this is really the difference maker in the game, was that they got completely out-rebounded by the Celtics, especially in the first half, where they allowed the Celtics way too many second chance opportunities, allowing Boston to get 17 offensive rebounds in total. Like, it's going to be hard to win a game when you get out-rebounded 50-32. Of course, that's a product of the Bulls and how small they are with the guys that they have out in the lineup, and the fact that in general the Bulls lack size. It's something we've been talking about all season. But look, at the end of the day, the Bulls played well. Like, obviously, they would much prefer a win, especially when you had the lead down the stretch. But I think Billy Donovan said it best in his post-game presser, saying that they didn't like the result. They didn't get the result that they wanted, but he liked the way they played even better than some of the games that they have won this season, which I have to agree. The guys were playing smart basketball. They were fighting and showing effort for the whole 48 minutes. There's been some wins where you can't say that they actually played with effort and hustle for the full 48 minutes. Now, of course, both Ayo and Coby got the nod in the starting lineup, with Lavine and Lonzo Ball being out, and both of them showed up incredibly well, particularly Ayo, who had the best game of his career thus far. This after having a 0-point game yesterday against the Warriors. He comes in, plays 40 minutes, puts up 21 points on a ridiculous 9 for 10 shooting, 3 for 3 from 3, and tallies 10 assists. His first double-double, a career high in points, and on some insane efficiency. You just have to love how smart this kid plays and the demeanor for which he carries himself on the court and taking the most of an opportunity with the team being shorthanded. Coby White, same thing, taking advantage of an opportunity to start. He comes in, hits some big shots for the Bulls when they really needed it, especially those threes that kept them around in the game. Coby had 19 points, shooting 7 for 16 and 5 for 10 from 3 to go along with 5 assists and 3 rebounds, and not a single turnover for Coby tonight as well. And how about Vucevic? I've been saying it all season. This guy is the X factor for the Bulls. As good as the Bulls are talent-wise, the Bulls need him to be on to take them to the next level. And although he missed that game winner, which was a really good look, like you can't get a better look than that. So obviously Bulls fans are going to remember that more than the great game he had tonight. And they'll also probably remember the foul that he had on Robert Williams, where he was going for a rebound when the game was tied, which allowed the Celtics to hit those 2 free throws and take the lead. Obviously, that was a very big mistake on Vucevic as well. But without Vuc's strong effort in the post and finally being aggressive in the paint, the Bulls don't even come close to having this game being competitive. Vucevic scored a team-high 27 points on 12 for 20 shooting to go along with 6 rebounds and 6 assists. Then, of course, what makes the game even more surprising is that DeMar DeRozan wasn't even having that great of a game on offense up until the fourth quarter. He wasn't shooting the ball well and only had 9 points going into the fourth, but then, of course, DeMar did what he does and comes through in the clutch and scores 14 points in the fourth quarter alone. Granted, he did miss a pretty big shot when the Bulls were up 1 point, I believe it was. But that aside, DeMar was doing everything else on the court despite not having the best shooting night. He still managed to finish plus 11 on the night for a team high, and with 23 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists. The bench was okay tonight. I mean, you had some strong effort in plays from guys like Tony Bradley. Matt Thomas was hustling nicely out there and hit a couple big shots. It was also nice to see the Chicago kid Malcolm Hill, who the Bulls just signed to a 10-day contract, hit a really big 3 in the fourth quarter. So overall, I know a lot of fans are going to be disappointed in the fact that this is now the Bulls' 3rd straight loss, which is the longest losing streak that they've had this season, and we're going up against an even tougher team in the Grizzlies on Monday. But you have to be encouraged by what you saw in that the Bulls started looking like their old selves, playing with effort, pace, and hustle. Like, it would be concerning if this was the 3rd straight game where the Bulls just played like they didn't care or they didn't want to be there. That would be something that would start getting me nervous about a drastic change in the team's demeanor and interest level on the court. But you didn't see that tonight, and that puts things more at ease for me, knowing that this team is going to be fine. They just need to stay healthy, and it'll be great once the roster is fully back and in shape, and we can start seeing the Showtime Bulls again. Apologies for not having a live game chat for this game. As I mentioned in the community post, I was out at the start of the game, so I was not able to get the stream going at that time, but I will have the live chats back for the upcoming games. I'll also have my weekly preview video out tomorrow rather than Monday, since the Bulls have an early game on Monday for MLK Day, so be on the lookout for that. As always, be sure to subscribe if you're a Bulls fan, as I do post daily Bulls content. Thanks again for tuning in, guys, and I will catch you in the next one.